All right, and we have Pirucream and Bratchedkata for the top 8 of OLS number 15 coming up next. And as always, if you guys want to see some of the other Swiss rounds, they will be on my website. Link will be in the description below, but all the top stuff will be here as per usual. The top stuff will actually also be uploaded over there as well if you guys want to take a look at it. But yeah, Pirucream, Bratchedkata, both familiar faces in the tournament scene. Bratchedkata especially, also known as Zeramis. Looks like he did actually, I think, change his Twitch name, though, to Bratchedkata. So maybe making that branding change across all platforms. But really good match here. Really fun stuff. Awesome OLS in general. The top 8, very, very competitive. We had some other great competitors like Trevo and Real Key that were also in the top 8. Just lots of awesome people. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first game of the top 8 of OLS number 15. And we are in the top 8. Generally, it's like almost midnight. But let's go ahead and get into game 1, top 8 of OLS number 15. All right, here we go. It looks like we are going to have Lee Sin as the first matchup here versus none other than Barrier.
Ooh. Okay, I saw the triple Nopify and I'm like, that's game if you're against Gohar.
Yeah, right. Triple Nopify could be hard. I'm actually curious to see if we get a similar strategy out of Bratchedkata that we saw from 4LW earlier.
It's so bad against Lee Sin, though.
All right, here we go. Greenglade Caretaker and Brightsteel Protector and Shen and Screeching Dragon. He's got, I don't know if that's a little bit of a smirk there on Bratchedkata's face, but that does seem like a pretty awesome first hand.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
What I'm confused about is on both the deck list and deck tracker of Bratchedkata, I'm only seeing 2 Nopify, but that was 3 in his opening hand. But there's no reason his deck tracker should have it incorrect.
Yeah. I feel like the deck tracker generally, I've seen it like show decks from past games a lot as well. But you said there was 3 in the opening hand, and there's not 3 on the deck list that he submitted?
Yeah, 2 in the deck list as well as 2 on the deck tracker. Or was 2 Nopify and a deny? Okay.
Wow. Trying to throw people under a bus, Boulevard. Yeah, way to go.
That's why I was asking.
All right, confirmed. Chat confirmed. Chat's got Bratchedkata's back here. And again, looks like we are off to a pretty aggressive start versus a deck that you probably want to be pretty aggressive against. You don't want to give Pirucream the chance to get something like a Lee Sin down straight up on turn 5. But Zed will definitely be a nice way to try to counteract that as well.
And there's nothing too crazy or off the wall about this Lee Sin Zed deck. It is a pretty standard list. We only have 1 Bastion in here. Maybe that is, I don't know. It's actually been so long since I've seen a Lee Sin deck that I can't tell you what sort of the standard for something like that is. What I do know is that this Zed, not going to attack does mean that we probably don't have a Hush. Or if we do, we're not really... It'd be such a weak commitment of a Hush to just have your Zed kill a kill a Brightsteel Protector. You'd much rather save that to play advantageously against a riposte.
Yeah, Hush for Barrier doesn't feel like a good trade, but on the flip side, you would understand it even just because playing a Zed and then not attacking with it on the turn you have an attack token is like, oh, well, why'd I do that?
I guess the problem is you'd still be committing it, like, it's a free barrier, and it's, like, your Zed is still getting blocked.
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, 100%. You're not really getting any direct damage through with it. And honestly, really liking the hand from Bratchedkata. I mean, we have Shen we could get down. We have Screeching Dragon that we can get into next turn. Again, kind of that scenario I was talking about earlier where sometimes it might feel a little bit better to throw the Screeching Dragon down on turn 5 when your opponent has the attack token. Now you go into a turn 6 with a repost, possibly 2 reposts that you'll have available depending on the spell mana you carry over, or a repost and a sharp sight even. And now the deny coming down as well. And not too happy about that, it looks like, on the side of Bratchedkata.
All right, we got Zenith Blade. Does this get denied? There's really not a whole lot of deny targets in this deck. It really is just like your opponent's denies and Lee Sin kick.
Well, it does seem like so the consideration there that I think Bratchkata just went through was, all right, I have sharp sight, no need to play deny, and I do think that makes sense. Not to mention you have the barriers of repo, so we actually have both options on the table here, and none of these can get denied, like you just mentioned. You know, Pirucream obviously playing denies as well, and I think that's what we're going to see later. I think Bratchkata is probably going to save this deny for Pirucream's deny.
Yeah, either that or the Lee Sin kick, just stopping that. I mean, concussive palm onto Fiora is something that happens. I don't think it's something you're too terribly worried about. This isn't generally a matchup where the Fiora win condition is something you're playing for. Lee Sin is not a deck that handles wide boards very well, so you just want to continuously put out as many units as you possibly can. And honestly, I think that you throw out a little chump block onto this Mentor of the Stones, but you might just let the Zed level up. You don't care too much about that. It still only represents 1 unit on defense.
And now all of a sudden, though, with this Mentor, yeah, it's going to be a 6/6. So we do kind of have to commit a repose. We technically could sharp sight the Shen, but you don't actually kill the Zed, which feels kind of bad.
And I think sort of trying to commit the Shen to something like that is a little bit scary, and I don't know. I don't think that actually killing this Zed really ever works out for you. I think this is one of those times where you're just going to have to go through it. Just ignore it and try to win the game through it. You've already got Pirucream down to 11 HP.
Yeah, he is pretty low, and as of right now, you are representing a wider board, and you can pretty easily you block this Mentor, great. You still have plenty of blockers, and wow, actually gonna sacrifice the Brightsteel here to just save 6 damage. I don't hate it. It seems worth it, a 3/2 blocker to prevent 6 damage that your opponent's sending to your face, but
that's the other problem. If you go for a block onto the Zed and it doesn't work out, Zed levels because he has Overwhelm.
Yeah, yep.
All right, but we're going for the full suite of blocks, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see this. So we'll see if Pirucream has a response. I mean, I'm trying to think of what on the side of Pirucream could we have. And,
yeah, Pale Cascade is sort of the weakest one, but it does get it done. You would have much preferred a Hush.
Yeah, I don't think this is terrible for Bratchkata, though, right? I mean, you're leaving your opponent with 1 unit, and you still have 3 units on board. One of them, which basically just threatens lethal in and of itself in this this Caretaker.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, that Eye of the Dragon is going to make it a lot harder to kill Pirucream on the following turn. You do still have this Screeching Dragon. You can get down alongside the Shen, though, at least get a challenge down onto the Zed. There is the possibility of Concussive Palm. You don't have Deny for that, but yeah, your opponent's actually down to 3 real cards. I mean, that's 4 gems and a Zenith Blade in your opponent's hand. You've got to feel like you're in an okay spot if you're Bratchkata.
Yeah, and we have Screeching Dragon hitting the field, so still pretty good spot for Pirucream here. Or sorry, for Bratchkata here to go in for this attack. You're not going to have lethal necessarily, but man, I mean, you have the Shen. I think you're okay with attacking with the Shen here into something like this Zed blocking it, because you're going to trade it, but here's the gem.
Not anymore.
Nope. Yeah, that feels bad. There, wow, even 2 gems. And this is going to be a huge next turn for Pirucream then.
It's so awkward on the side of Bratchkata, because, I mean, you can send in the Screeching Dragon at the Shen just to push a little bit more damage onto it. You're going to want to use Shen if you do that, and the Dragonling gets a free block there. Your opponent is going to be healthier than they were at the start of the turn, and you don't really want to send in your Brightsteel Protector either, because that could actually just die to the Dragonling, while the Shen either gets through 3 damage, and that's negated by the Dragonling, or even just, sort of chump blocked by the Gift Giver.
I mean, do you feel okay just challenging the Eye of the Dragon and calling it a day? And I mean, it doesn't seem like a half bad play, right?
What? I was thinking of the Dragonling. I'm looking at the Dragonling thinking you're talking about challenging that. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're done with the ASMR. You need to pay attention to the game now. Yeah. Killing the Eye of the Dragon, definitely not going to feel too bad. And luckily, because the Shen level up was prevented on the previous turn, you are not in a position where the Shadow is going to have Overwhelm as well. So you only need to block the Shadow to survive. But things getting a little dicey here on the side of Kata. I honestly don't hate the idea of actually just sort of leveling the Shen over the course of this turn and the next with that Stand United. It does set up pretty decent blocks against the Zed, because you've already tested the waters for Hush, and Pirucream didn't have it.
And we'll see. Oh, here it is. Here's the Lee Sin. You know, we have enough mana for something like Deny, you know, in case a Concerted Strike or a single combat or something comes out on the side of Bratchedkata. So this seems like a pretty safe Lee Sin play. We also have Zenith Blade, so Lee Sin getting ever so slightly closer to the win condition of his level 2 Dragon's Kick, Dragon's Rage. It's a kick, okay? And on top of that, we even have the Zed who's continuing to pressure damage here. Things not looking too good for Bratchedkata right now. I don't see a way with no combat tricks in Bratchedkata's hand, right? Like no single combat, no Concerted Strike. I don't really see a way that we get rid of this Lee Sin, right? Gonna challenge the Bright Steel. I mean,
yeah, you're not gonna be able to kill the Lee Sin unless, I mean, are you really banking on the fact that Pirucream doesn't have a burst speed spell? I think it's a much more likely ordeal that you can actually kill the Shen with the Screeching Dragon if you commit to that, because as nice as Stand United is, it doesn't actually threaten the lives of any of these units because the Shen isn't leveled. You're not getting any attack boost off of that, and I think you've got to go for... I mean, you could, if you really want to, Stand United and Sharp Sight the Dragon, but the problem is you would need the barrier onto the Dragon, and that's just not going to work out because if you Stand United it, it's in the way of the Lee Sin. Unless you're Stand Uniting, say, you could play it on Shen and the Screeching Dragon, and then Sharp Sight the Screeching Dragon and try to kill the Zed. If there was a Hush top deck by Pirucream any time in the recent past, I think you lose the game if you go for that.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. And it looks like I mean, this is going to be a really crucial block.
Granted, yeah, nothing looks good into Hush here, right?
No.
And you're only going to have mana for one spell. You don't have like 2 riposts to try and recommit onto this. So we're going to start off with Stand United.
All right, now Stand United actually does, and again, this is something that I don't think a lot of players are prepared for or play around even. This might be something that Pirucream doesn't have an answer to. Now, you mentioned Hush. There might be a Hush in here, but actually forced to block the Shadow as well, just because of you know how much damage it's actually representing on the field. So we'll see. Does Pirucream have the Hush?
If he did, I imagine it would have been snap fired off because Riposte does, or Sharp Sight, anything like that, does not put this Bright Steel or the Screenglade Collector back into a range where it's threatening the Zed. Zed almost certainly going to live through the turn if we can get that off, but we don't have to, right? Because there is going to be 8 overwhelm damage pushed through anyway, and then, you know, your opponent's down to 6. We just have to get Lee Sin into range for that.
So this will level up the Zed prior to it dying, which is interesting. So kind of an interesting interaction. If you guys are new to the game and you're tuning into the stream, that is basically because of Quick Attack. Both attacks happen at separate instances there, and because Zed has Overwhelm with the Quick Attack, he is still doing damage, and that is the fire alarm going off, so I'm going to mute myself, Boulevard.
All right, so, oh man, so shit didn't mute himself for me. So I still have a fire alarm going off in my ears. But it's important so that I can figure out when it's over. All right, he has muted. It's just us, chat. I can do whatever I want. I have full control of the stream. What are we going to do here? The mods are asleep. What do we do? In all reality, I think what this is coming down to is, does Pirucream have that deny to stop the deny of Zeramis to, you know, sort of stop the kick, getting into like 10-headed level plays here. But Pirucream can also just develop enough chump blockers that Bratchedkata cannot push through for the win, because this, you know, there's no overwhelm on the side of Kata. There's no evasive. There's no elusive. There's nothing fancy coming out here. It's a very straight up, honest deck out of Bratchedkata, and you're not really ever pushing lethal on this turn.
All right, we're back. My house is not on fire. We are okay.
There is potential for lethal. So there is potential for lethal here because the Shen is going to level up on the attack. That means that Riposte is representing +6/+0, and that plus Sharp Sight could be it. You do have mana for that as well as deny.
I have like smoke flooding into my room right now. It's fine though.
What was it, a microwave thing?
Yeah, it's just cooking. It's fine.
Okay.
It's like there's certain things like bacon. You ever try to cook bacon? It's always gonna go off. Like no matter what you do, your file.
The one that always got me in college was we didn't have a toaster, so when I wanted to make bagels, I would like put butter in a pan and then like put the bagel in there. And honestly, some of the best bagels I ever had, smoky as hell.
Yep. But here we go. I mean, this is, Lee said, really close to leveling up now. I imagine we're going to get 2 spells so that it doesn't die to this caretaker. We'll see what those spells are going to be, though.
And this could be a disaster for Pirucream, depending on what the spells are. Because if you throw off 2 burst spells and you tap below a certain point, I mean, Kata has lethal with Riposte Sharp Sight, and he has Deny on backup.
Yeah, and this might actually be the spot to go ahead and go for it. How much mana? We have 10 mana. Yeah, that is the perfect amount of mana for that. And honestly, I don't see a reason to not go for it. What are you really worried about that your opponent has for 6 mana?
It's just Hush, but there have been so many instances where your opponent could have Hush and just hasn't had it. So yeah, I like Zeramis going in for the lethal push. You know, go ahead, play a Concussive Palm. I have the Deny, and that'll be the game.
Is that a top decked Hush? All right, nope, it's a top deck Concussive Palm, and there's the Deny. And there's no way we still have Hush in hand. Otherwise, that would have been the first just whipped out. There. That's the first time I've seen the Soraka emote in a tournament. That was perfect.
That was a good one.
That was great. And Zeramis. All right, going up 1-0 versus Pirucream. All right, looking pretty happy there, too. Gonna pull his collar out, dust himself off a little bit, get ready for round 2. And we'll see if we do have a Bratchedkata top 4 in the midst here. Looks like we're going with the Go Hard deck. And we'll see what we're going to have queued up next for Pirucream.
That means Draven Ezreal was banned.
I hate that deck. I literally have nothing else to say.
That's why I figured I'd let you know that it got the respect ban out of Pirucream.
Oh, man. I guess it's just going to continue to stick around. And honestly, I mean, we've seen the mirror match, so obviously not taking that into consideration. I really don't think, if you take all the games we've watched into consideration, that deck has done incredibly well. I mean, it obviously has matchups that it wins, but I'd say it has a losing win percentage based off what we've seen. So I just can't really get on board with this.
I feed off of listening to you crap talk this deck, and it continuously show up week after week in top cuts, winning tournaments, doing better. Like, how many events does this have to win before you're just like, I guess it's good?
Well, I'm starting to switch my stance because I started playing it. And
I see. Well, are you still a bigger fan of Swain than Draven? Are you still in that camp?
Oh, yeah. I think Swain is better, but that's very back and forth depending on the removal in the metagame, right? Like, I think that's more of a meta decision or a meta call than it is just one deck being better than the other. But yeah, no, maybe one day I'll get on that bandwagon. I don't know. TF Go, you know what I can't get on? TF Go Hard being the best damn deck in the game. And we're about to see it here. Probably take down this Lee Sin. We'll see. This looks like a semi-decent hand for Bratchedkata. Curves out really nice into not just Betty Croker, but we already get the draw engine going. We got the Zap Spray Fin. We got the TF. So this is looking like a good start for Bratchedkata here in game 2.
This is the kind of deck that can start off aggressive enough and low to the ground enough and wide enough that it does just beat the Lee Sin. That is always sort of the back and forth with a deck like this. Do you find Zed in the early game to try and put enough pressure on wide boards so that you can just force the blocks out? They don't want Zed to level because that you can give it overwhelm, and that's a very threatening sort of unit that they're going to have to deal with. They just have to chump block and sort of keep that going. And even something like this Mountain Goat does represent a fair amount of pressure on an open attack, and trading it onto an Elise is going to feel pretty good for Pirucream. And yeah, there is the Zed. We do have it, and Twisted Fate not yet available for the gold card. And even if we had it, it would actually target the Mountain Goat first.
And Betty Croker, the card we all love to forget the true name of, going to come down. Draw us a card. This attack is actually a pretty big deal on the side of Pirucream. Gonna actually hold back the goat there, as it will trade with either the Elise or the Betty Croker.
And I like that, because the one piece of removal that's going to threaten this Zed sort of proactively is a gold carded Twisted Fate. But no, we are going to get the 2 blocks. Just let him hit us with the Zed. And that's going to be a lost board for Kata. Can return the favor with this Twisted Fate, though.
And all right, Zap Spray Fin gonna come down. We'll see what we get. It's probably either a Glimpse or a Go Hard, right? Glimpse, is that the deck?
Glimpse.
Okay, yeah. So Glimpse just gonna continue to fuel that strat. And look at this hand, Bratchedkata, Twisted Fate. We already literally have enough to basically level up Twisted Fate in like one turn. 2 salvage, Glimpse Beyond. This is what this deck does. This seems like a pretty good spot for Bratchkata. Problem is, the hand is a little clunked up with the draw, so we do have to slowly but surely get that out of there and actually start getting some of these go hards in play.
Yeah, one thing worth mentioning is that generally you put out a really wide board early and then you start to play the salvages to refill a little bit later. When you don't have a board, salvage is a very big commitment, and that's one of the problems that we see deep run into sometimes, is where you've only got 1 or 2 units on the field and you need the salvages not only to just toss and get deeper into your deck, but actually find some of your more on-curve threats. And the hand Kata, it's not looking bad per se. In fact, we don't have a way. I mean, we could still go for the gold card. And I'm really curious as to what Kata's plan was to deal with this Zed. Because we went for the Zap instead of the lease or the Twisted Fate, and the Zed currently is sitting at 1 out of 2. Now we have Keg Whale, but this Mentor of Stones does make things a little bit more difficult if that was the game plan that we were going for.
Yeah, Mentor of the Stones is gonna make Zed really hard to get rid of here. We don't have any direct removal, too, from Bratchkata. Bratchkata actually... Hold on, I just had the deck up. I'm curious. Bratchkata actually going with 2 Whale, 2 Vengeance, and a Passage Unearned. All right,
how long did it take you to set up this poll?
I don't know, like a couple seconds. Why?
Oh, okay, because I just noticed.
I said it because somebody, I think it was Zurum in chat, what did Zurum say? Oh, they're like, cooking bacon. No wonder your fire alarm goes off. You don't cook bacon, you fry bacon. So I'm like, all right, what do you put in a toaster? You ever heard that joke before? No? Nobody?
I have.
Just me? Yeah?
And nobody has voted for toast.
Damn it. Well, it's hard with a poll because, like, the answer's there, so I don't know. It's whatever, man. I tried. It was just let me live, all right? Let me live my life. It's a little.
All right, yeah, life. No problem. You know what? Actually, no. No, you already lived your life. I entertained you and did an ASMR cast. Now it's my turn.
All right, so now you think of the next thing we're gonna donate channel points for, and we'll toss it up on stream.
All right, I want to say rap battle, but I don't want to actually have to rap battle you because that's a lot of effort.
Oh man, that is a lot. Then we have to like go to the drawing board and start like writing stuff down and all that.
Well, yeah.
All right.
I'm not gonna say I have like a drawing board that's already half full, but you know.
Oh, whoa! All right, whoa! What are you trying to say, Boulevard?
Eventually, I'm gonna get challenged to a rap battle, and I'll be damned if I'm caught with my pants down.
We got a little mini Eminem over here. Resonating strike coming out. A red-haired Eminem, I should say. Onto the goat. So this is threatening all of a sudden a lot of damage onto Bratchkata. So, I mean, Pirucream doing a good job of being the aggressor. The thing is, we're really starting to run out of resources. We see, obviously, no lack of ways to add resources to Bratchkata's hand here.
And there is still, a couple of Nopifies in this Lee Sin list. We talk about it mostly in Shen Fiora having that denial for the go hards and being able to, really push through that kind of advantage onto your opponent. But no, this is still an Ionia deck, one of the few left in the format, and now we're going to get a glimpse beyond. No Zed level up just yet, but we are going to get the Twisted Fate out of the way. We are still not seeing a clean answer for this Zed.
Yeah, this is, one of the other ways that this Lee Sin deck wins games, right? Like, we're constantly seeing, somebody thinks of, all right, hey, it's a Lee Sin deck. Well, how does it win? Well, Lee Sin, it's in the name of the deck, right? That's the win condition. But this Zed early game, it's actually... Come to think of it, it's kind of common for a lot of these decks, right? So we have TF Go Hard. You can go wide really early and really pressure some control opponents a lot of the times early in the game, do a lot of damage. And then you have the Pack Your Bags win con. Lee Sin, very similar. You have the early Zed win con to pressure, more control-oriented decks. Start to put Overwhelm on that Lee Sin, you do a lot of damage or on the Zed. And then later in the game, you have the Lee Sin to take it home if you do make it to that late game. So Zed, just an example of basically the same way TF Go Hard floods the board. We have Zed, just represents basically just flooding the board and winning the game on his own, which it's so crazy. Zed, I feel like, has never really been in his own deck, if that makes sense. He's just splashed into decks that have a win con and want it to be aggressive, so they throw Zed in. Like Elusives, right?
I mean, like, do you want to see a deck that's, like, built around Zed?
I don't know.
Like, I
don't
guess it
know.
would look like this Lee Sin deck without Lee Sin, because unless you're playing things like Zenith Blade or some way to give him overwhelm, I never feel like you're building a deck around Zed, and that's sort of the power of him, right? He's just a utility champion. I feel like that's what a lot of the 3-cost champions are. There was a time, for example, Bannerman. For the longest time, it was Fiora Garen. And the Fiora win condition was never really at the forefront of your mind. You just played her because she was the best in slot 3-drop champion, and Draven came up in the same fashion. Zed has also felt that way to me, and the Fiora, because she is a win condition, you get to build decks around, but I don't think anyone's ever built like a Draven deck or a Zed deck.
Boulevard, just, and anybody in chat, just real quick, if you guys are new to the stream or new to myself and Boulevard casting, just go ahead, take a look at chat real quick. Just read from Zero Ishchar, Toasters Toast Toast, down to Vinicus Luigi. And that's basically what you get. That's... I'm just reading chat and I'm just like, what? Like, what is happening right now? This is the kind of stuff we talk about here, all right? Just want to throw that out there. Sorry to interrupt you, Boulevard.
It's okay. I mean, I was finished, but...
All right, sorry.
I'm trying to figure out how Kata deals with this Pirucream, and I checked my notes, and it just says clown with a question mark. And I don't know how to interpret that, so...
All right,
I think Zed just lives.
Hold on. So this is funny. We actually had the most responses we've gotten from a poll out of this stupid toaster poll. And Bread did win out with 9 responses, but very close as a second was what the fuck why with 8. And then six people said your head. So there's that, I guess. Just disclaimer: nobody actually put your head in a toaster. So to throw that, we don't support that here. Don't try that at home.
I thought the implication was I got to put your head in a toaster.
Oh, my head specifically. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I voted for that.
Actually, why do I feel like everybody got that implication now? Shit.
All right, so Lee Sin still doesn't have barrier. We have the Vengeance. We kind of want to hold open Deny Mana on the side of Pirucream to stop something like a Vengeance. It is the only sort of piece of interaction here. But I don't know. I mean, even if the Vengeance does come down, are you prioritizing the Zed or the Lee Sin in this scenario?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, Zed doesn't have Overwhelm, so I'd say prioritize the Lee Sin. It's just Zed is slowly going to whittle you down of resources, but I don't think you're worried about that right now with having these 2 salvage, 3 salvage in hand. Yeah, we do see one ripped off here. Is going to get rid of a Go Hard there, unfortunately. And Passage Unearned... I mean, technically, Passage Unearned kills a Zed Shadow 1 turn, which I guess is okay. But really, I don't think going to get a huge amount of value here in this matchup. And yeah, this is very interesting how this game's played out. I'm actually surprised that Zed has stuck around for as long as it has. We still have this Vengeance in the hand of Bratchedkata, and I got to imagine we are saving that for Zed. Like, not for Zed, for Lee Sin, right?
Well, we found a Passage Unearned, and that'll kill a Zed Shadow at some point, but that's about it.
And oh my god, is that his last Go Hard? He just tossed. That was 2 Go. How many Go Hards are left?
Not enough to get to a point where you're packing Pirucream's bags.
That everything about that statement sounded not good.
It is a really rough position for Kata to be in. I'm trying to figure out if, with Twisted Fate and kegs from Gangplank with the Withering Whales, if you have enough to kill your opponent, but I think it's just too much mana because Gangplank is the keg generator and not Dreadway Deckhand.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. There's just not enough mana to actually do what Bratchedkata wants to do. Like you mentioned, honestly, I think one of the best things Bratchedkata can go for right now is this Gangplank. I feel like getting the keg with something like a Withering Whale could accomplish a lot. We would need basically both Withering Whales. And actually, now that the Zenith Blade comes out, this Lee Sin is very outside of the range of basically any removal outside of Vengeance. And we know, I mean, this is why Bratchedkata has avoided playing the Vengeance. There's a Deny. Like, there's no way. You don't typically play Lee Sin in a Lee Sin deck unless you have a Deny in hand as backup for removal. And that's probably what we have on the side of Pirucream. We might see Pirucream go below the 4 mana now here just because, you know, Bratchedkata is represented going to 4 mana, not really threatening anything. Instead, just going to try to draw more. And, you know, I think this is at a point for this TF Go Hard deck on the side of Bratchedkata where there is Drawing actually doesn't get you out of this. Generally speaking, this deck, the more you draw, the better. But we tossed a lot of the go-hards, unfortunately, and I don't know if drawing is actually going to help Bratchedkata here.
Not a whole lot. Okay, we are going to get the Sonic Wave. I was a little surprised not to see the second Zenith Blade thrown onto the Zed on that turn. Oh, we get it. What did we spend 6 mana on? Or was no, never mind. We didn't spend 6 mana. It was just we already played a 2 mana spell in order to actually get the. I see what happened. So, actually, not even going for the Passage Unearned just yet to take out the Zed Shadow. We do only have 5 mana left. You know, maybe it is going to be. I mean, I guess the question is, Passage Unearned is always going to be more mana or more.
Yeah, it's just a surrender. Yep.
Basically, I was saying you're holding up Withering Well for Bastion. Couldn't figure out a way to get there. I saw the end in sight. I crashed into a wall along the way.
Happens to the best of us, man. So that.
But it does mean we're going to get a game 3.
Yeah, that is going to be a game 3. So we're going to get this Go Hard deck again out of Bratchedkata, and we'll see in a second what Pirucream had banned out. So Pirucream again, the lineup was Elise, Twisted Fate, Gangplank, Go Hard. Then we had Zed Lee Sin, which we just saw, and then Barrier, and it does look like the Barrier deck was banned out. So lo and behold, we get the not quite mirror match. I'm actually going to pull up these decks side by side real quick and see what the difference is. It looks like
Shipwreck Hoarder versus Dreadway.
Yeah, there's Shipwreck Hoarder. There's so Shipwreck Hoarder on the side of Pirucream's deck, Dreadway in the side of Bratchedkata, but Bratchedkata also running Passage Unearned.
Which I think the only value that gets in this matchup is Kegs and Elise Spiderlings.
And also running Chronicler.
Yeah, well, my thing is we always talk about how you can pretty much always get value out of this card, and this is probably one of the matchups where it's going to be the absolute worst.
Okay, here's another consideration. Pirucream is running Ruination. Does Ruination swing the game in anybody's favor? I tend to believe no.
Yeah, it's nice if you fall behind in the early game, but I mean, if you just get ahead in the early game, it's going to be a little bit better than having a Ruination to try and wipe your opponent's board a little bit later on. I don't think it really has too much of an overall... Like, if I knew I was going into a Go Hard mirror, I don't think Ruination is one of the cards that I think about putting in my deck.
No, in fact, you probably wouldn't want it, I think. So that might actually be a disadvantage for Pirucream. So we'll see if that comes in big here. But both players off to a okay start.
Actually, so... Ruination, I don't think is a disadvantage for Pirucream because there is a Dreadway in Bratchedkata's deck, so... I mean, Dreadway, I would Ruination a Dreadway.
I think, yeah, anybody would Ruination a Dreadway. I don't know. I mean, but do you ever get to a spot where if there's a Dreadway on the side of Bratchedkata, I don't think Pirucream doesn't also have like a pretty large board, right?
Yeah. Potentially.
Or maybe if it's just a lone Dreadway, but then you have Vengeance, right? So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you have a point. Maybe that's something that we see a little bit later on in the game here. For now, though, Bratchedkata is the one putting the pressure on, utilizing this Elise. You gotta love those spider tokens coming out here. And we do also have a Chronicler. Doesn't look like that's gonna really come in too big as it currently stands. We do already have a Go Hard as well. Do we ever play the Go Hard? Or is this the whole rule that you can't possibly ever go into a turn without 3 spell mana? Is that what's happening here?
No, this is a deck that doesn't play nearly as many spells, and if you're going to play Twisted Fate next turn, there's a very good chance you're going for the blue card, so you are going to get that spell mana back.
Yeah.
Now it's looking a little bit scarier to play that Twisted Fate.
Yep, that is going to get pinged to the high heavens with something like a Go Hard with that keg, and that's one of the reasons, like I said earlier, I have actually even found myself targeting kegs more often with actual removal versus TF Go Hard, just because of the threat of really easily removing those 2 health units. In this case, it's TF, but a lot of other decks have those early 2 health unit champions.
I'm trying to figure out if there's ever a universe
where
Kata feels so pressured to play something this turn that we just Chronicler the Elise to heal it.
So, no. I know.
Not that desperate to get things on board.
No, because I think you are actually happy to have the keg used on your release,
Oh.
and then you put out your Twist of Fate, right?
So all 3 Glimpse Beyonds are gone now for Bratchkata.
Wow. Yeah.
That was 2 tossed off the salvage, 1 in the hand, and that means that every Zap Sprayfin is going to pull. One of them is going to grab that unearned passage, and then from there on out, it's all go hard.
Yeah, and if we do get Zap Sprayfin in hand, we already have a Chronicler of Ruin, which means we already played 1 go hard. We already basically would have 2 in hand at that point. So let's see. I mean, all we got to do, draw this Zap Sprayfin. This Elise coming in pretty big too, though, right? We are pushing through very slowly but surely this 1 damage of the Spiderling. And that matters. You know, again, if there's one deck that really shows how 1 or 2 damage can make a huge difference in a matchup, it is TF Go Hard. And that's what we're seeing here with the Spiderling, and we'll see if that's going to come into play a little bit later in this game. I'm really curious. I want Zap Sprayfin to get drawn now. Now that we know that the Glimpse Beyonds are out of the picture, I want to see if Bratchkata, if we draw Zap Sprayfin, if it just like hard wins the game. Like, okay, we just have Go Hard so ridiculously fast that you can't possibly come back.
Well, you know that first one's grabbing passage unearned.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that. There is a... See, and this is why you don't play Passage Unearned.
Well, I mean, so Feel the Rush is considered to be, and just Freljord Control in general is considered to be one of the better decks into TF Go Hard, and Passage Unearned deals beautifully with both the Harrowing and the Feel the Rush, which are the 2 cards that you have the biggest problem with. And if you're playing a deck like this that hangs onto cards so incredibly well, it's not the end of the world if you are playing 1 or 2 duds in there. It is unfortunate that it is a Zap Sprayfin dud, but in the matchups where it's good, you just love that much more because Zap could just get you a silver bullet.
Yeah, in that case, Zap is tutoring exactly the card that you need, so you might be right. Maybe it comes in big in those matchups. But here, not going to do too hot. So
yeah, here it's not great. It's not great.
We'll see if Pirucream starts to develop some more of a board here as well. I mean, Pirucream has a Zap Sprayfin of their own. Actually... Forgot the line.
Oh, actually, funny enough, I think we had mentioned Chronicler of Ruin as one of the things that you can use the Passage Unearned on, and Pirucream is actually not running Chronicler of Ruin.
Yeah, yep. All right, here's the TF. Gonna get a blue card. So, I mean, I gotta say, just from how things are looking, I gotta say I like things a little bit better, maybe for Pirucream as it currently stands, but at this point, it's still anybody's game.
All right, and Twisted Fate's gold card should hit the Twisted Fate here. It was the one that entered the field most recently. It's kind of the gumption we've been going off of. You can always just find out. You can hover it.
Yeah, the eye to see what happens. Yeah. And let's see.
Actually, no, you can't because once you pick the card, then it goes on the stack. It's not like the Harrowing or something like that. So no, you actually can't hover it.
Wait, which are you saying? The gold card?
Yeah, because the card selection screen comes up rather than targeting anything, so you never have a chance to hover the eye. Mm-hmm. You just have to find out, and we are just going to blue card instead.
So this does leave salvage mana open. I'm not sure if that's something we're going to do this turn. It's probably more likely that we see possibly Glimpse here.
All right, there's the Zap.
Yeah, looks like salvage. Yeah, there is the Zap. And, I mean, so again, we do have Zap Chronicler. So even if we do draw Passage Unearned, there's 1 Go Hard, we're going to draw at least 1 Go Hard. So right now, we know that we'll definitely get 1 more Go Hard, and that will put us at the next one being Pack Your Bags. And, I mean, Bratchkata also up on health total here as well. So we might just be kind of racing to a Pack Your Bags at this point between both players. And Bratchkata, for the time being anyways, seems like he's winning. And this Elise, oh my god, this Elise is putting in work. Like what it's been like 3
It's just really
now?
funny to look at Pirucream's 17 life and 1 Spiderling on the field and be like, Elise is doing work.
Yeah. But I feel like those little minuscule differences in this matchup, I think, really do make a difference, though, right? Like, these decks inherently play a lot of 2 attack units. So I think having that Elise so early on is a huge advantage in the mirror match. If you don't draw your Elise and your opponent does, they're generating more tokens, more attackers, and even if that 1 token is putting you 1 unit wider than your opponent, that's still 1 damage. And that's one less damage you have to go face with. That's one less time you need to use Doom Beast. One less time you need to use Pack Your Bags, etc., depending on what breakpoint you're at for life. And yeah, like right now, you just need 3 Pack Your Bags and a Doom Beast, as opposed to 4 Pack Your Bags or 3 Doom Beasts and Pack Your Bag, or 3 Pack Your Bags. So I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot, but you know.
I was gonna say, are we counting life totals in terms of Pack Your Bags? Because I don't think I've ever seen more than 2 Pack Your Bags go off in a game. Generally, by that point, you should have won already. And we are going to start off with the Go Hard onto the Twisted Fate, not going for the Keg because we don't want to commit that kind of mana. We can just Zap Spray Fin, ideally into another copy of Go Hard, get that down, and still have 1 mana left over to just kind of fumble around with into the next turn.
This also gives us an okay Withering Wail.
Yeah, it's looking, I don't hate this Withering Wail.
Well, because what could also happen with the Withering Wail is that it's also going to deal 1 damage to Zap Spray Fin. You have a Zap as well. So when you're able to get... Oh, wait, do we not? Oh, I was like, where did the Zap Spray Fin go? When you get your Zap Spray Fin down, if you do grab something like a Go Hard, now you can remove Pirucream Zap, and now you threaten another 2 damage if Pirucream doesn't respond with their own Zap as well. So, again, just another 2 damage to take into consideration. And I think you're right. One thing I want to bring up is kind of like, all right, mirror match, what's the win condition? What are you trying to do? Or really against any deck, what's the win condition for TF Go Hard? And you're generally not playing more than 2 Pack Your Bags, so you could probably expect 10 tops, 10 damage tops. So you really want to try to do at least, like, let's say 6 damage to the face of your opponent, and then you have maybe 2 Doom Beast, and then Pack Your Bags to close things out. In other matchups, you're probably going to be able to do a lot more face damage with, just going wide on the board with these units. But this does represent leveling the Twisted Fate, and right now there is no way to deal with it. See, this is what happens. What is it? I can't hover. The Twisted Fate. Why did you let it get past 4?
6 out of 8.
It should have never gotten past 4. It should have never gotten past 2. What is this?
I mean, in all fairness, we were trying to kill it this turn.
I mean, I guess. It's a little late. Day late and $1 short there, buddy.
We do still have the kill onto it with the 2 Withering Wails if we really absolutely have to.
Yeah, but you almost certainly are going to end up, getting a couple wild cards out at least next turn.
I don't know. Pirucream's not going to be able to really get too much value out of this Twisted Fate. It does come down to, do you have another copy already waiting in the wings in your hand? Because we can get a Zap down, or just glimpse beyond this, see what we can find. And there's a Go Hard, and that should mean that this Zap Spray Fin will grab us a Pack Your Bags.
Oh, will it?
It should.
Oh, will it?
There's a very good chance.
Oh, yeah, because from my math, there might be an okay chance of also drawing an unearned passage.
There is a lower chance.
5, 1 in 6?
Oh,
there it is.
Setting the Elise up for the red card. Granted, one thing to keep in mind is there is really not that much fast and burst speed cards in the deck of just either of these players. Getting to a red card in response to a Twisted Fate dying is actually a bit of a task.
Yeah, red card is typically pretty hard. I will say that level up TF on the side of Pirucream doesn't feel as bad having your own leveled up TF, especially when yours is at 3 health. So this still seems like an okay situation for Bratchedkata. I guess the question is, do we want to do something like a Withering Wail here, or do we want to Pack Your Bags?
I like Wail more because I like packing the bags of the next Twisted Fate.
Yes, because that would kill it. And obviously...
SJW, I do want to ask you one question.
All right.
Have you ever seen 2 leveled Twisted Fates on the field at the same time? Because I think this is a first for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's a first for me as well. All right, I was thinking about this Zap Spray Fin, and there's the passage unearned. I don't know what you... Bratchedkata, don't give us that look. What did you expect?
Passage unearned represents red card.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you can...
And it still gives you enough mana to pack your bags. In case there's like a vengeance onto your Twisted Fate or something. But no, it is just going to be a Zap Spray Fin. Once again, getting just another full spell mana, or 2 spell mana rather, on the side of Pirucream. Both these players just opening with the same sort of style. And do we know how many Go Hards Pirucream has played? How close are they to Pack Your Bags?
I wasn't writing it down, nearly as well as I was during the ASMR game.
Read me everything on your notepad.
All right, hold on. You ready?
Yeah.
All
You're an animal, and I hate you.
You wanted me to read my notepad, so I read my notepad.
So we are going to get the red card out of the Twisted Fate for Zeramis. That is actually going to full clear the board, as we do have the Withering Wail coming down alongside it, and Pirucream. Everything that he's getting from here on out is spell mana. He's not going to have the chance to redevelop another Twisted Fate, and I don't think he's that close to Pack Your Bags. I think he's at the very least one off.
Yeah, he's much further away here, and I do think this is an amazing spot for Bratchedkata. Maybe we get a Withering Wail. Does Pirucream actually even play the Withering Wail? I think so, right? Yes.
I want to say yes.
Yeah, so, there's the Whale, but that doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, we are still going to go ahead and take 7 damage here, which is now 2 Pack Your Bags and a Doom Beast away from losing the game. I'm telling you, that's the math we're doing the rest of the game. That's how we're doing it.
I mean, in all fairness, you sound like me when I was like 8 years old and I measured money in like Yu-Gi-Oh packs, and I'd be like, oh, that's like 10 Yu-Gi-Oh packs. That's really expensive.
I don't know about you. I still, like, my rent is measured in Yu-Gi-Oh packs still, so I don't know what you're talking about.
My rent's measured in cases.
Yeah, I wish it was only measured in Yu-Gi-Oh packs. So that is I think the third one. He doesn't hover long enough for me to see. So, which I'm trying to kind of figure out what that does to the game here, and what Bratchedkata is going to have to do in response. Bratchedkata also has Ladros, so that's another thing to take into the equation. Actually, right? We're also 1 Ladros and X away from the game here. So Ladros going to have to be taken in consideration.
Honestly, the red cards out of this Twisted Fate just getting in that continuous chip damage every single turn, and I wouldn't be extremely surprised necessarily to see a Chronicler to heal the Twisted Fate if we see some like a keg or something out of Pirucream. Because I think at this point we are, if we can, trying to save Pack Your Bags to come down for lethal after we play a Ladros.
Yeah, I mean, well, if Pirucream is on Pack Your Bags right now as well, I think your Twisted Fate just dies to that, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out next.
Yeah, I do think this Gangplank is very close to being leveled for Bratchedkata, though, simply because of the red cards getting a lot more off-turn damage than you would necessarily expect. Yep, Vengeance. There is the Vengeance onto the Twisted Fate, and I mean, we could unearned passage for the red card, but I think I like getting Gangplank down a whole lot more.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on the limb and say a leveled Gangplank, or a nearly leveled Gangplank, feels better than 1 damage to Nexus for 3, and wow. Already well on our way to another Pack Your Bags as well with our current hand. This does feel good for Bratchedkata. This is going to be an open attack, too.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well get down the Pool Shark just for that additional 1 damage. We're actually a lot further from the Gangplank level than I thought we might be. We are only at 3 out of 5, but our next turn can just be open attack, Ladros, Pack. And I am not seeing a way for Pirucream to get out of that one. Ruination is not fast speed.
Wow, imagine that. Jesus. Please don't. That'd be bad.
Oh, are we going wild?
Oh, we're going wild.
Are we just gonna pack your bags into Gangplank?
Why?
Because packing bags here puts Gangplank at 4 out of 5, and then Gangplank will level mid-combat.
Oh, this actually... And this does 7 to Nexus.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean... Alright, well... I guess this is a thing. We're going to do it. And yeah, Gangplank would then level mid-combat after the first hit from a unit comes in. So I guess the thing to play around would be Vengeance. You don't know if your opponent has it. Maybe you do.
Well,
maybe you don't.
So if your opponent Vengeances, you still push 5 damage, and then you just play Commander Ladros.
Yeah. Oh, another Ladros. Or, sorry, another Pool Shark fleeting feels amazing. And yeah, here we go. Let's see if this gets leveled up here. Yep, and there's the Soraka emote and the Yasuo emote. Is that just game? Wow.
Yeah.
That's just straight up game, not even a Vengeance. And yeah.
I mean, there's usually only 2 Vengeance in decks like these, and we did see one already committed onto the Twisted Fates. So, yeah, Bratchedkata going to take that one 2-1 over Pirucream. Stumbled a little bit there in game number 1, I want to say.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we lost game 1, and then we took it back. Took it back, baby. So cool stuff there. Let's see where we are at for the rest of the top 8 here. Let me refresh. Does that mean nobody's finished yet? Oh, no. All right. So, looks like KCJ really representing for Tyrant today. Moving on to the top 4 as well. And Real Key did also beat MWG Alex, moving on to the top 4. So, we're just waiting on Trevo and Vaquero. And we did see Bratchedkata take down Pirucream. So, Bratchedkata going to play KCJ. Ooh, so I guess the question is... Because we can hop into Vaquero Magado versus Trevo for the rest of the top 8.
Hey, where are you getting these brackets from? Hold on.
The brackets page. Come on,
the
man.
brackets page is still showing round 6 for me.
You gotta refresh it. Oh no, you gotta click brackets again, and it'll pop a drop down that says Swiss rounds and top cut. And if it's not popping up, you gotta refresh again.
Oh no.
So do we want to grab? I mean, Bratchedkata is on stream. So KCJ, I don't know if they're streaming or not. I don't know their stream. If
I don't think so.
I highly doubt it. So, but we could get 2 hands.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, absolutely. I'll hop into Trevo's side.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, all right, I got Vaquero. I hope. Wait, do we have Vaquero? Did I?
Before I get into Trevo's game, do you have Vaquero?
I thought I had Vaquero.
All right, I'll get Vaquero.
Okay, yeah, I got Trevo. All right, here we go. Again, two Brazilian players. Seems to be popular today. I think we had, what, maybe like... All right, and there we have it. Bratchedkata going to go ahead and advance to the semifinals. We'll see who's going to take on here in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that bell to get notified when the semifinals video does go live. So cool stuff there. And we have more card reveals today. So that bell will also let you know when I put that video up. So as always, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you. And peace out.